Fucking hell.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome to this week's edition of Jolly Rogering, the programme that we haven't prepared earlier.
Yes, that's right, Dusty. And later on, I'll be showing you a film all about Dobby stereo shot in a cinema near here.
Gosh, that sounds exciting, Laura. Well, I shall be out with the Jolly Rogering roving camera crew, and I'm going to be investigating people's underwear and a bit of gusset stretching in the Vale of...
Now, I'm sure that you're all as interested in digital systems as we are. And you may remember how last week I told you how if you cross an apple with a nun, you can get a computer that won't go down on you. Well, this week we sent out intrepid reporter David Steele to interview the reclusive Professor Colin Pierpoint, world-famous expert on computers and Latin American ballroom dancing. Let's see what he found out about binary rumbas.
This is a recording on the subject of revision of digital systems.
It's intended for use by Q course students, but could be of use to rookies, to A course students, as an introduction to digital systems.
So, pin back your logos, wipe that stupid smile off your face, and listen. You might think from your A course that a digital system is all about bits and bytes, ones and noughts, PCM and PP3s. Forget it.
When you get to this stage, digital systems are systems which use your digits. Yes, those knobbly bendy things on the end of your arms are responsible for all things digital that you need to know about.
In fact, you're using a digital system right now. But stop it, they'll spread. Now, in front of you, you'll see a question. Which of the following describes a true digital system? Is it number 00 an ADC? Number 01 cross hypers? Number 10 sampling rate? Or number 11 point source? So now hang up the telephone, make your choice, and ring the appropriate number.
You have answered incorrectly.
An ADC is not a digital system. It stands for Advanced Duty Claim.
Or, as we at Wood Norton call it, the weekend swindle sheet.
Now try again.
You've selected an answer which is incorrect.
Crossed hypers are what you get when you consistently lower a boom into shot on a live transmission. It's usually signified by a blip of tone
And followed by 3 months of early morning continuity shifts.
So you see, it's not a true digital system. Let me repeat the question for you. I want you to give an example of a true digital system.
The answer you selected
is incorrect. Sampling rate is not an example of a true digital system.
It means the time taken for a visitor to Evesham to find a pub which sells decent beer.
Now try again.
Point source is, of course, a true digital system. It occurs when you ask the canteen staff for tomato sauce, and then the till girl, otherwise known as a bit, giving you a tired look, points in the direction of the sauce bottle. Point source is a good example of a true digital system.
You have answered correctly.
Thanks very much, Dave. Well, now we've seen how digital systems work, we thought it'd be nice to show you how you can make one of your very own. What are we going to need then? Well, first of all, you'll need one of these. And this is a large piece of polystyrene. Right, as well as this, you'll need one of these, and this is our printed circuit board, which you'll find on page 37 of this week's Radio Times. Now, you'll need to screw this onto the piece of polystyrene with a screwdriver. Like so. Then, of course, you'll need a main supply. Now, remember, children, main supplies are very dangerous. When you do this, always get a grown-up to help you, because as you know, it's much more preferable for your parents to get a fatally dangerous electric shock than for you to get one. So leave that to your mummy and daddy. Then some components, and I think you'll find that inside your father's hi-fi, if you dismantle it, you'll find some things like this. Now on these are things which we call components. It's a technical term. And you can remove these with the use of a screwdriver or perhaps a hammer, like this. And this. Once you've done that, you'll need some glue, and you'll have to stick them on top, on the board. And you should be able to find the right bits. I've got some I prepared earlier here. Now, for example, this one, let's see where it fits. I think that'll go nicely in there. Yes. Apply the glue to the object and glue it in the position. It doesn't really matter what they actually are, as long as they fit in the holes. And I think that one will fit there. Incidentally, you'll find details of how to make this and the other projects we've done in this series in the latest Jolly Rogering Annual, as well as photographs of our recent exhibition to reach the summit of Hugh O'Donnell's nose. So you just continue sticking them on here until the whole thing's filled up. And I've got one underneath here, which I prepared earlier. Here we are, and I think you'll all agree that this would look lovely on your mantelpiece. You could perhaps give it to your uncles or aunties, your mother, your brother, your sister, your second cousin, his auntie, his mother. But anyway, I think it's probably time now to go over to our very own obese man, Alan Clifford.
Thanks, Dusty. Well, here we are now on the first of our jaunts around Wood Norton this afternoon, and we find ourselves in the breeding wing. Now, the breeding wing is where lots of lectures and things like that happen, but there's something a bit more interesting that happens in the breeding wing, and if you come with me down here, I'll show you just what it is. As we walk through, you can see all these wonderful photographs of various areas around, Evesham and Worcester. They're jolly nice pictures, and they give you something to do during lectures, which are quite boring, but what we're going to do is go in here. Now, this is where a strange breed of person lives. They're called a lab tech. Now, we're not too sure quite what a lab tech does or why they do it, so we're going to find out. But first, notice this. I don't know if you can see this. Unauthorised entry prohibited. Dangerous voltages may be exposed. So if I go up in a puff of smoke, don't laugh too loudly. OK, let's go in. So this is where the lab techs live. And as you can see, it's a Well, a fascinating sort of place. There's bits of wire and cupboards and all sorts of stuff around here. And that's a lab tech. We won't disturb him just yet. I don't know if you can come up here. And this is quite interesting because up here are some photographs of lab techs. Now the reason this is interesting is because there was a theory not so long ago that lab techs were in fact the living dead, but of course, as you know, the living dead can't have their pictures taken. So let's see if we can see on, match up the lab tech here with the picture. No, he doesn't seem to be on there. Well, best ask him and find out a bit about what he does. So, excuse me, are you a lab tech?
I am, yes.
You are, right. What's your name?
Mark.
This is Mark the lab tech then. And what exactly did you do to end up here as a lab tech? What did you do wrong?
Well, I'm on 2 months contract at the moment.
2 months contract.
Yeah.
So you can see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, I'm hoping to get extended, so no, really.
You want to stay?
I do.
I think it's a very sad case. What does a lab tech do?
Everybody's dirty work.
Everybody's dirty work. Do you fix things?
Yeah, I do sometimes, yeah. Yeah.
And what have you fixed lately? Anything good?
Some parallel strips.
Parallel strips.
Yeah.
A fascinating life. Perhaps something we could all look forward to doing one day is becoming a lab tech. Just like Mark here. Great life. Well, it's time for us to go. I've got to leap into the helicopter and take us to our next site. But at this stage, we were going to have an interview with a ventriloquist. But unfortunately, ventriloquism, by the way, of course, is the art of talking without moving your lips. Unfortunately, the comedy duo Glum and Tutton went into a lecture all about radio network distribution. And they actually fell into a coma during that. But instead, we're pleased to say that the man who can move his lips without making sense can be with us. Here, with the latest news, it's your friend and mine, Big Bad, Alan Jones.
Good evening and welcome to News Round with me, John Craven. And for those who are of hard of hearing or of an unfortunate disposition, the dummy news for SMs. After 3 years of hard work, Irish intelligence experts have today announced that they've now cracked Britain's highway code. A bomb exploded earlier today in the toilet block of London's Wormwood Scrubs prison. Since then, many local residents have complained of seeing the inmates going over the wall. The BBC's Ronnie Corbett, of the Two Ronnies fame, has heard today that he's now passed his Open University degree course in mathematics. He's now looking for a job as a pocket calculator. And we regret to announce the death of Jeremiah Mole, who was Britain's untidiest man, who died earlier today. His body is now lying in a state. And an embarrassing incident took place last night, this time in Ireland, when a sneak thief removed all the toilet seats in the local Ballybunion police station. Police, who are now out looking for the man, are complaining they have nothing to go on. 10 Downing Street announced today that the British economy should now start to pick up. Mrs Thatcher has announced she has taken Birmingham out and put a proper toilet in. And a bit of local news here. Our director, who was so unpopular, fainted at the bar at lunchtime today. 10 other Q-Course members rushed to his side to tighten his clothing. And finally, an unfortunate incident occurred on the M5 earlier today when Arthur Scargill's car was involved in an accident. He was rushed to Birmingham's General Hospital but was pronounced dead on arrival. Doctors have described his condition as satisfactory. And now back to Dusty, another dummy.
Thanks, Alan. Well, Laura, our little canary, the blonde bomb sight, seems to have a morbid fascination for noise reduction systems. So we sent her along to Malvern Cinema to do an in-depth interview. Unfortunately, she came back with this instead.
Great Malvern, a seemingly quiet, sleepy town in Worcestershire. But here at the Winter Gardens complex, the cinema has undergone a technical revolution. Yes, Dolby has hit Malvern. The major refurbishment of the cinema over the past year will mean the respectable citizens of this market town, which is a mere bus ride away from Hereford or even Worcester, can at long last enjoy the benefits of low-level companding. Until recently, only the privileged few could talk about the joys of 15 decibels of noise reduction above 9 kHz. Low-level companding, new carpets, and seats rescued from the Barbican Theatre in London, we just had to find out more. Well, here we are now in the foyer of Malvern Cinema, and with me now is Mr Ian Cole, the manager. Ian, could you tell me first of all, why was there a need for refurbishment in the cinema?
Yes, well, the building was built in 1930, as part of the whole Winter Gardens complex. and it desperately needed refurbishment. And some of the seating, in fact, was 1930s, so you can imagine the age of that. So what we did was we put a large amount of sum of money to do the whole complex, but starting this year with the cinema.
Did the cinema close for the duration of the refurbishment?
Well, it did, yes, for one night for E.T. When they were decorating the top of the auditorium in the stalls, which is some 40 feet high, we had to platform across, and we couldn't actually shoot the film through the platforming. But that was only one night. It was the only night we've actually closed. Otherwise, we've kept open either in the circle or in the stalls at all times.
So how far has the refurbishment got at this stage?
It is virtually completed. The seating is now finished. The carpeting is going in finally, and the most important factor, in fact, is the Dolby sound, which is the noise you can actually hear coming over now, which is being installed today, so the live performances will start tonight with full Dolby sound.
Hidden away in the projection room are the Dolby processing equipment and Richard Evans, who told me why Malvern's Picture Palace has taken the plunge with Dolby.
Well, the old system was, to put it mildly, clapped out. And when we decided to spend money on the system and general refurbishment of the cinema, we decided that along with new amplifiers, new loudspeakers, we would make the system stereo capable, that is Dolby stereo capable, which makes for hi-fi quality sound in the cinema.
So the general public would notice a difference when they come along to see a film. They would notice that the sound was actually better.
I think most members of the general public would. They've got used to very good quality sound with television and home hi-fi, and the cinema has lagged drastically behind that, and we have now caught up.
What does the Dolby system do then, Richard?
The Dolby system uses their noise reduction cards, the Cat22 cards, to provide a better, more healthy signal off the film, and allows you to use up to about 10 to 12 kilohertz top frequencies, which means that the whole brightness of the sound is better. It also uses a pair of tracks on the film to provide a left and right signal, which is then processed to provide surround sound and a centre channel to keep hard centre images to make good dialogue.
In conclusion then, Richard, do you think that by having this system that more people will come back to the cinema?
I think that we have to provide at least as comfortable and as good quality a system as they can listen to in their own home, and we are now doing that. In fact, we're probably exceeding that, because it is a very, very good, clear sound system, and also provide home comforts. It's very easy for people to sit at home and watch television or listen to the radio in total comfort, and we have to at least compete with that.
Only time will tell if Dolby Sound can save Malvern Cinema from the clutches of home video. It's certainly a dramatic improvement and well worth a listen.
Laura McNeill there, taking the hiss out of Malvern Cinema. Well, it's at about this time of year that we wake up Martin the tortoise, who's been hibernating for the past few months. He's here in this box, all snug and warm, and probably dreaming of German war helmets. But before he makes too much of a mess, let's see if we can get him out. Come on, Martin, come on. Oh dear, watch that leg, it's going to break off again. There we are, put him down there. Now, before he starts waking up and running around, it's a good idea to paint his name on him. Otherwise, he may get mistaken for a hedgehog and run over by a lorry. So let's see. M. Gosh, aren't you crusty? A. R. T. I. N. There we are. Martin. Now, let's see if we can wake him up, shall we? Martin. 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 Come on, Martin. Oh. Martin. Martin. Martin's had a hemorrhage. Oh well. That's something you might try. Anyway, I think it's about time we went back to Alan Clifford for some more lavatorial dribble.
Looks delicious, Dusty. Well, the helicopter's got us here, so, well, where are we, you might be wondering. This is heading underground Wood Norton. If you'd like to follow me down these steps, I'll tell you a little bit about what's going to happen. The lawns are outside, and we've discovered a way of getting underground. Basically, we're holding Ernie Cox's dog to ransom, so we've got the keys off him, and we're descending now into the bowels of Wood Norton. No, it's not the canteen, it's the cellar area. A lot of rumours about what happens down here. Tales of Secret Service, spies, a link with GCHQ. Who can say? We might find out while we're down here. Tunnel stretching quite a long way down there. And to the left here, another long tunnel. Who knows where it leads? Who knows what might be at the end of that? And as we come down here, you can notice these sort of alcoves to my left and right. The story goes that these were used to hold wine in, but I think nowadays they have a slightly more up-to-date use. If I just stand in here, you might be able to see what I mean. Yep, this is where the lecturers are kept. Every night, come 5 o'clock, the lecturers are brought here, tucked away, cryogenically frozen, and then woken up the next morning, except one or two who aren't, it would seem, woken up the next morning. Hell's teeth, look at this, an early LS58, Ian Weems's favourite. Didn't quite make the grade, this one I don't think, but, well, obviously a prototype. Moving a bit further back, I can see a box here in one of these alcoves. Is there a slumbering lecturer in it? No, there's not. There's actually a lot of paperwork. Maybe it's paperwork that's the secret of Wood Norton's underground. What does this say? This says, BBC Research Department, confidential reports. I wonder what's in here. Some terrible secret about the BBC, perhaps. Let's have a quick look. Well, this is obviously quite confidential. I don't really know if I ought to tell you what it says. It says, UHF transmitting aerial for the Limavady television station. Obviously top secret and highly confidential. Let's tuck it away and hope nobody knows we've been here, although doubtless it will be leaked to The Guardian fairly soon. So as you can see, a lot of interesting things down here, but I think I can hear police sirens possibly coming in the distance. Ernie Cox may have contacted the police. We might be in trouble, so I think it's about time we went back. All I can say is, what happens down here, nobody knows, and will anybody ever know?
Another fascinating item from Alan Clifford. Well, if music be the food of love, I think we're all probably going to starve to death with our next item. There's been no expense spared to bring you Cardiff Sensor to Sieg Sieg Sputnik, Only Connect, with a catchy little ditty called Kiss, or for our Welsh viewers, look you boyo, kiss isn't it, get your sheep off my mountain.
cannot allow us. Eternal twilight hours. Strength's power cannot allow us. Eternal twilight hours. And so we kiss. Kiss, kiss, kiss the fatal twilight. Wish, wish, wish to tear apart us. We kiss, kiss, kiss the fatal twilight. Wish, wish, wish to tear apart us. Kiss, kiss, kiss the fatal twilight. Wish, wish, wish. We kiss.
Great.
Great, fantastic.
Wasn't it?
They're going to be in the charts pretty soon with that, I should think.
Well, that's all for this week. Next week we'll be showing you how to do open heart surgery on your hamster. What else?
I don't know. What else is on next week?
I know Big Nose hadn't told me.
Oh, the director. He couldn't direct traffic of a one-way street, could he,
Maybe
really?
not stay in this show very long.
I don't know.
On the ITV.
Should we wave goodbye?
Yeah, but